Today we're working on our R33 GTST, which is our current giveaway car. And we have a lot of little things that we would like to fix on this thing and get it 100% dialed in before the end of the giveaway, which is coming up very shortly. So in one of the last videos, we had a bunch of YouTubers take a look at the car and kind of roast it. And one of the things that Tommy told me off camera was like, your paint. I was like, buddy, that is nice paint. If anybody's seen it in the video, obviously it was shot straight out of the gun. There's a couple little dirt nibs and stuff in it because we have cross flow paint booth and you really can't get like a perfect paint job. And then you could see a little texture, which is kind of like, let's call it a smidge over factory like orange peel. So what we're gonna be doing in this video is kind of fixing some other stuff with the car and kind of addressing some of the slight issues. And we're gonna go ahead and cut and buff this thing. So that means we're gonna sand the clear coat flat or flatter. I don't know if we're gonna go like all the way flat like a piece of glass, just because then they're basically, after that you touch it with something, they scratch really easy. They're just kind of hard to take care of. So that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna kind of leave a little bit of that factory peel in it, because I kind of prefer a little bit, especially on a car that's not like a show car that's just gonna be perfectly clean all the time. So this is kind of the quicker technique. And we're gonna use the DA dry. This is 1500 grit right there. We're gonna kind of cruise down the side, find some nibs in it, sand out the nibs specifically, and then polish it down. We're not gonna go crazy. We're not gonna go 100% show car, blocking this thing down until it's like as flat as a piece of glass.
So hold on. Just to get this straight. You prefer some orange peel in your paint?
A little.
Josh?
I think it looks...
You prefer some orange peel in your paint?
If you're gonna drive it every day, yeah.
All right, well I learned something new.
Well, like my Supra, we cut that thing down and it's a pain in the ass. Like
scratches, like
yeah,
micro scratches, and I get that.
It's just hard to mess with. So, you ready?
Is that the smaller DA with the smaller drill?
Alright, what are we thinking? Well, first off, now you can see, some of the nibs.
Yeah.
If you wipe it,
See, even that spot where you got no peel showing, when you buff that, it'll actually still have some peel in it, because that sandpaper you're cutting with, it's not aggressive enough to actually flatten it. If you wanted this car flat, you'd have to block it with 1000 grit. And
who was it this time?
you know you turn it off with the same one you turn it on with, right?
Yeah.
you just turned it on and left it on for a minute.
It's out of control.
So I've learned now, when I turn it on, I turn it on slow, even though I could see that it's not on, just in case it's on. But if you go in there and you flick that thing on, you're getting freaking blind.
As far as it'll go. That's the best thing you ever bought for the shop. The little water.
Jamie bought it, just trying to help out. She's like, you know what? Maybe the guys need to be able to like fill up buckets and stuff.
It does help out for more reasons than one.
So the goal here is to get the best result possible with the least amount of work. That's how you want to do everything, right? So we started out with this 1500 grit on the DA, sanding it down, seeing where we're at. And then after that, we wet sand a couple of the nibs that are a little bit taller, and we don't want to sit there and kind of flatten it out with the DA. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with this rubbing compound. This is from 3M. It's their kind of most aggressive sort of setup with this foam compounding pad. And we kind of take a look at it. It still has a couple of holograms, and we're gonna go ahead and hit it with a polish after this. But I need to finish compounding this panel to see kind of where we end up with it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with this polish.
Alright, so we just hit it with kind of like a medium polish, kind of a medium heavy polish. Before you can see a little bit of the holograms in it from that compound, because it's pretty aggressive. So we might have to go back and hit some of the edges a little bit, but man, that looks really nice, right? Yeah, it just needs the polish taken off it, but that looks really good. As soon as you wipe it off, that thing just looks freaking amazing.
Do more of an angle. Huh? Crown at the top. Or less of an angle so it lands flat, I guess.
All right, so me and Sean are tag team in the car. 1500 grit quarter panel turned out. So 1500 grit seems to be working really good. Gives us that nice blend in between. Cuts pretty quick. It's fairly easy to polish out. I think tomorrow I want to stop and get some 2000 grit and some 3000 grit and actually kind of finish it with this. Hitting it with the compound, you really have to go on it for a while, which is fine. But if we could cut it down a little bit faster, cut down the polishing time with some 2000 and some 3000 on the same deal.
Just polish it faster.
Polish it super quick, and I think it'll turn out a little better. So you can see right here, fender, cutting down some of the peel, finding some of the nibs. So I'm just gonna kind of buzz this down a little bit more, and then I'll hit the nibs with a 1000 grit on a little block. So with the 1500 on that, we're able to kind of see where a lot of the orange peel and the texture is in the actual paint. And all of the shiny spots are the low spots. All of the gray spots is kind of where it's flattened it out. And you can see up here in the corner, it's pretty flat. It's universally flat. But one of the things that we're kind of concerned with right now is see that little, kind of looks like an eyeball, and that is a little dirt nib. So essentially what happens is a piece of dirt will land in your paint and kind of suck up some of the clear coat. So that's why it has kind of that tall piece. Clear coat is actually a little bit lower around it because it actually kind of pulls it up and pulls it up with it, just because of the surface tension of the clear coat, I guess. So anyhow, this is 1000 grit right here on a tiny little hard block. It's actually a little Japanese block right there. And so what we do is we put that on a piece of paper, a little bit of wet sand. We'll just hit that one little spot right there because we don't want to make everything too flat. And then what this will do, see there's only a tiny little piece left. We'll just kind of sand that out again. And what's going to end up happening is that little spot will technically be a little bit flatter than the rest of the panel, but it'll blend in really nice, and we won't have the little dirt nib in there anymore. So all them little dirt nibs are completely flat. They'll blend into the panel. We'll hit it with the 1500 grit. Everything's gonna look really good. And again, we're just really not going for that show shine, because that show straightness, because not only is it hard to maintain, it's a ton of work. And we want this car to be driven. We want it to be able to where somebody can hit it with the polisher, that there's still plenty of clear coat. I hit all the panels with this thing with 3 coats of clear. So there's plenty of clear to actually buff and polish on it for a long time. Yeah, we just wanna make sure that it looks really good. When you look at it at a car show, you don't say, man, look at all that little dirt in the paint. So. Slippery slope. Pretty soon we'll just be polishing the door jambs and the engine bay, and it'll never be enough. I mean, honestly, this car laid out pretty flat. There's just a little bit of like dirt nibs, and the crazy thing is, like, out of all the YouTubers that looked at this, nobody said anything about the paint other than Tommy. Everybody's like, oh, paint's good. So like, unless they were lying to me. Oh, are you ready? Oh, hello. What'd you get? We got this fella right here. Ready? Oh, it does like 40 miles an hour. Where'd you get it? I got it on the internet. All right, so we decided to do a new promo for this this upcoming weekend. What we decided to do was everyone gets a car. Right now, I ordered a bunch of these little things. I just tested them out this morning. I really liked it, so we're gonna order a couple more of these. We're gonna do like 10 of these, and then we're gonna do basically all Hot Wheels. So I have a buddy, we're gonna go to his house tomorrow or the next day, and he has a collection of all like JDM stuff that he's been collecting over the past like 15 years. Every single one of them is like a JDM legend, you know, like Skylines 240s, like enthusiast cars that are Hot Wheels. So the thing is everybody who orders anything off the website, they get entered for a chance to win the R33, but they get a guaranteed car in their order. That's our idea. And I just wanted to order some of these and test them and make sure they were pretty good, because they're pretty good. $1,500, 2,000 DA, 3,000 DA with the Trizac, and then 5,000 on the hood right here is kind of where Sean finished with it, and it's polishing out a lot faster. So we're still in compound, so we're using this 3M #1 step with the white foam compounding pad. Some people say that the white foam, or the foam, is a little bit more aggressive than the wool. I kind of like the wool, but sometimes it just flicks a bunch of wool everywhere, and I don't know. We're trying to keep it clean, but I might switch to the wool here in a little bit. A lot of people like the DAs to polish with, but I kind of prefer the rotary and then to do like the final with the DA. Whew. All right, so we're going. I think I spent over an hour just compounding the hood with the wool pad. Lots of work, but man, look at it. Even just in the shine of the light, like it looks so much better. So, and we have 2 more steps after this. We're gonna polish it, like the mid-step polish, and then the final step, like the final polish as well. But man, it's looking really, really good. The wool pad, it's a lot faster on the edges, but man, a big flat surface, oh yeah, it's a lot. Like to get it and blend them all in, and then we were still kind of fighting some like 1500 grit scratches. The 3M is pretty aggressive, especially with the wool pad. So you're able to really, like, as you're watching it, you pretty much just have to watch them like melt away. If you could see, I'm on the edge of the buffer a lot, so there's actually less heat with the edge of the buffer, and the wool pad absorbs a lot of that heat as well compared to a foam pad. So a foam pad will actually run a little bit hotter than a wool pad, and that's why I like, you know, compounding with a wool pad. So the compounding is taking a while, but it's the most essential step to get all of those really, you know, scratches out of it. Also, I am going over the edges a little bit with, I kind of keep the flow. You know, let's say it's wiping, it wipes right here. So like if we kind of hit right there, and then it's kind of hitting right there, and I'm kind of dragging it in that direction. But overall, these edges all need gone over again with the compound. And so what Sean's gonna be doing is hitting it with this guy. So we got the little Milwaukee polisher. This is a compounding foam pad, and we'll use that same compound and just go right here, right there on that edge. We're gonna stay on this edge, and then we're gonna stay on this edge and blend all that stuff in, and then we'll hit it all with the polish. So we're going crazy, but not that crazy.
So we are on a pretty big time crunch to get this thing polished. Initially, we thought it was only gonna take us about a day, and here we are 3 days later, still polishing on this thing, compounding it, making it look really good. And the problem is we don't even have any good pictures or videos of this thing. And since it's the current giveaway, we're kind of in a rush to get this thing out on the road, get some rollers. But enough of me talking, let's hear how this turbo sounds.
So we got cruising R33, we went and did some rollers in it. I definitely want to put the speed sensor back in the turbo, because right now it kind of sounds like a dentist drill. The noises that this thing makes. Right? Super smooth, dude. That's 19 pounds of boost.
Now that the paint looks nice and we have some good photos of it, Eric is going to tackle something that looks terrible in the engine bay that almost everyone pointed out as we were looking at it.
The thing that, like, pretty much everybody that looked at the car that we asked to roast it, they all said that we need to change this. So right there, that is the finish on the valve covers. We don't like that finish. So what we're gonna be doing first off is pulling these valve covers off. I talked to my powder coater, the guy who did this, and he said to pull them off and bring them back in. They got some prismatic powders, some actual like new wrinkle stuff. This was something old that he had on the shelf since like 2004. It just doesn't look right. So we're gonna go ahead and pull these things off. And I have a spare set that we're gonna put on temporarily in the meantime while these ones are getting fixed. Right here is a set of covers I got off of Facebook Marketplace. Now these ones look like they're rattle can, but even though they're kind of basic, they already just look a lot better not having that weird coloration on them or the weird look. So we're gonna go ahead and maybe touch this up real quick and get them sitting on the engine, send these ones out, get them powder coated. I don't know if we're gonna get them done by the end of this video, but we will put some updated pictures on the website when they're all done. It also has this cover right here, which is in really good shape. And honestly, I don't even know if we'll change that. We might just clean this up because that looks pretty cool. Clean these up a little bit. And even the center garnish is a lot better. The sticker's better, and this is a little bit cleaner. All right, so new valve covers are installed and those look pretty good. Definitely cleaned it up just by adding those on there. I would be pretty happy with it overall. But again, we're gonna have these ones redone and I think it's gonna look a lot better overall. So tomorrow I'm gonna mess with catch can fittings. We are doing the radium fittings on here as well. It'll be in a similar location, so I need to figure out all the catch can stuff. So now that this thing is all polished and looking nice, we'd like it to make just a little bit more power. So the last time it was on the dyno, we didn't have a whole lot of time. We just kind of wanted to get it on there, get a good little baseline, make sure everything was safe. The last pulls, it made 366 horsepower. I definitely think this thing could make 400, like no problem, and still be really, really safe. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is go ahead and stick it on the dyno, turn up the boost a little bit, maybe do the ignition timing. I'll see how it responds to that. Drain the tank, put E85 in it, and go from there, see how much power we can pick up on that. Might even be able to get a little bit closer to 450, which would be really sick. So on the interior of this thing, I got a new little shift boost, so we need to install that as well. We obviously did like a brand new one of these when we were doing everything else. Got the can gauge working real nice. Alright, so one other thing that we actually did with this car, and we didn't tell you about, is we put a blow-off valve on it. So some of the cars we put blow-off valves, some of them we don't. I wanted this thing to live for a while, and we put a stiffer spring in it, so you still should have a little bit of that like compressor surge where it goes like shoo, 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 shoo. If you go wide open throttle, let off quick, it has a nice blow-off valve. So Alright, those runs were in third gear. We're gonna do one in fourth and see how it goes. Alright, so 394 horsepower. That was adding 1 degree of timing and doing the pulls in fourth gear. So normally when I'm first running in a car, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, I'll do third gear instead of fourth. Usually because I don't like, you know, run it up to 100 and some miles an hour every time, especially if you're just dialing in stuff. The last speeds we were 85 miles an hour versus this last pull is 115 miles an hour where we hit the limit. This last pull is fourth gear, the same timing. I just moved the timing around. So 394 horse, that was 18.3 pounds of boost. We don't actually have a boost controller on it right now. That's basically just straight on the wastegate. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's really safe, and you go beat the crap out of this thing and have it live for a long time. I think we're gonna go ahead and throw some E85 in it. We'll probably bump just a little bit over 400 just because of that, and then we'll add just a little bit more timing and it should be good to go. We just tap right into the return on the fuel rail and then start the car, and then it basically just sits there. Instead of having like to key the pump on or like command it on all the time, and then you like, you know, kill your battery or whatever, we just do this, it just runs, and it's good to go. All right, this is how you know we're getting to the end. Just start spitting a little bit. First pull on E85, we didn't change any ignition timing, nothing else. It went from 394 horsepower to 430, and we went from 347 foot-pounds of torque to 377. So we gained 30 foot-pounds of torque and like 36 horsepower just by switching to E85, no ignition timing. That's pretty good. So we're gonna do another pull. The last pull was on 19 pounds. You can see right there on the can gauge. All right, so one thing before we pull it off the dyno is I was really curious about this VTC sort of situation. With the plug and play adapter, we got this little thing, which it shows that the VTC solenoid is on pin 113 from the factory on a Series 2 Rb25 or whatever right here. So I went ahead and I came over here to the VTEC control, because basically it's an on-off solenoid. It's not like a variable cam where it goes like you can change it. It's pretty much like on or off. I played with the settings. I did a pull. I just turned it on at 5,000 RPMs, and we seen the most peak torque that we've seen right there, and then it lost power above 6,000 RPMs. So then I did a pull with it on, and I had it turned off at 5,000 RPMs, and I basically inverted the solenoid, so the whole run, it didn't start making any more power until 3,000 RPMs. And so then I changed the settings, so it comes on now at 3,000, turns off at 6,000. So that should be the best of both worlds, where we basically get that advanced intake cam right in the middle, and then get rid of it at the top where it will pick up peak power. So we're gonna do another run with it. I think I might have heard a little bit of clutch slip. We do have a new clutch in the box. This is still the stock setup right now, so we'll probably put that in. I just wanna do a run and see how it does. All right, so she did really good on the dyno, and overall we picked up 67 foot-pounds of torque in the middle, and we picked up 50 horsepower up top by just switching to the E85, same boost level, all the other stuff. So it's definitely cool to see the difference between the VTC on and VTC off. VTC off, VTC on, that's a total of 67 horsepower right here at 4,000 RPMs and over 50 torque right here in the middle. So 50 horsepower on the bottom. Look at that, 50 horsepower on the top as well. 67 foot-pounds of torque with a peak torque value in fourth gear at 396 foot-pounds of torque. We weren't able to do a final full pull with the VTC working in fourth because the clutch was slipping. We have this fella, brand new in the box, a competition, I believe it's a stage 3 or stage 4. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in it. Yeah, it should hold plenty of power like that, but we're gonna go ahead and get this thing unloaded off the dyno and take it down the street and see how it feels. All right, boys, that is gonna be it for this video. It feels a lot better just driving it on the street. Just the torque, it's definitely quiet. Eric said it sounds super quiet from the outside. Like it has a little bit of limiter now, like, and we did a little burnout and this thing rips. So 430 horse, almost 400 foot-pounds of torque, E85. It just feels smoother now. Feels really nice. Yeah, it's so smooth. So if you guys haven't yet, we're doing a cool promotion this weekend on Motion on TV, which by the time you guys are watching this video is probably over, maybe, unless it's Sunday the 7th. We're putting toy cars, RC cars, a bunch of stuff in everyone's order. We have a bunch of Hot Wheels, we have a bunch of RCs overall. We have some R34 Legos. There's a bunch of cool stuff. So if you guys haven't got any entries yet for a chance to win the R33, this giveaway ends on the 15th. We're doing 50 times multiplier this weekend. So yeah, get entered if you guys want this really cool car. It's definitely gonna be sad to see it go, but we got a lot of other projects in the works. So appreciate you guys watching this video. See you later.